It's days like today that make me want to literally, figuratively, and even metaphysically vomit. If you missed what happened in the world's largest casino, aka the old stock market, it was nothing but pure chaos. And in this video, I'm going to be breaking it all down, and I'm going to prove to you empirically that a gnarly bull trap was set, and unfortunately a lot of people fell into it and are right now feeling quite a bit of pain. So we'll be breaking that all down, and more importantly, what to pay attention to not only tomorrow, but for the remainder of the week. Of course, if you like these type of daily market breakdowns, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, all that good jazz. Most importantly, don't forget to wear your lucky shirt tomorrow, because I truly believe it is the only way to survive the turbulence that is the current market. And with that being said, let's rock. By the time they turned off this nightmare machine for the day, it was not pretty. Dow tumbles more than 300 points today, Tuesday, as tariff-induced sell-off resumes, or I'd like to say it, there was a brutal bull trap. But before we get to that, I do want to show you the heat map of the S&P 500. If you've been watching these daily update videos day after day, you would know that this one is not as bearish as we've seen it in the past, but it's definitely not as good, not as bueno as we saw yesterday. So bringing it to today, you can see we had a little bit of optimism this morning in the SPY, in the NASDAQ, in the Russell, and then around 10:30, 10:20, 10:45, somewhere before 11, it really got bad. And not only that, we saw volatility rip through the roof. The SPY ended up dropping 1.6%, the NASDAQ down 1.8%, you had the Russell going down 2.6%, and you had vol ripping 11%, closing officially above 50. Not so good. So you're probably thinking, where in the world did all of my money go? And in all reality, I don't know the answer to that. But I do know why there was a pretty brutal trap set. Coming into today, and really this kind of starts yesterday, we were getting a little bit of optimistic news, especially with the backdrop of the fact that everything was seemingly so horrendous lately. White House, nearly 70 countries have reached out to begin negotiation over US tariffs. That's good. Okay, we're seemingly getting some reports, at least what's being told to us publicly, that maybe Trump's gonna get his way. And then on top of that, we got some other positive signs. US and Iran to hold high stakes nuclear talks. Trump wants direct negotiations, but Tehran says it'll be planning indirect talks in Oman. So basically between yesterday and this morning, we had financial tensions coming down, we had global tensions coming down, and a lot of people thought, oh, wow, and for good reason. I mean, look at this. Even though yesterday was crazy with the fake news that happened around 10, we were generally drifting up, and then in the overnight session, early morning session, and all the way up to around 10:30, things were pretty good. Higher highs, higher lows, and unfortunately, it was a brutal trap. I know that I've been using that word a lot, but it's because I mean it so earnestly, and I can prove it to you that a lot of people fell for it. Heading into the close and at the open today, retail capital rushed into equities. Trading volume on all US exchanges reached another record of 29 billion, not million, billion with a B shares on just Monday alone. The bull trap materialized in under 5 hours with close to 2.5 trillion of market cap undone. $2.5 trillion just Thanos snapped into the ether at really the painful cost to a lot of people. The Dow Jones midday getting clapped 1.6%. You had the S&P 500. Check this out. From the low that we saw yesterday to the high from that fake news, we were up 8.5%. If you consider what we had today's high, that's almost 9%. And then before you know it, from that high to really the extreme of the day, we dropped 6.8, and at today's close down 5.4. Talk about volatility. So things were seemingly looking optimistic. We got all this news that many countries are wanting to speak with the White House. We had global tensions coming down with US, Iran, and Israel. So where did it all go wrong? What happened? China Commerce Ministry. China will never accept the blackmail nature of the US. And then they followed up by saying, honey. China says it will fight to the end. It's going to the mat after Trump threatens 50% additional tariffs. Coming into today, specifically noon o'clock today, this was all more of, is he actually going to do it? Is Trump the loco crazy man that's actually going to do it? And the answer is yes. White House says a 104% tariff. I want to be clear, like I'm not misspeaking here. 104. White House says 104% tariffs on China officially went into effect today, noon Eastern time, and they're going to start collecting that dinero tomorrow, April 9th. And hey, I get it. I'm a crazy looking guy. You don't have to take me for my word. Listen to what the White House had to say themselves.
Ed, go ahead. As promised.
Yes, thank you. You mentioned the 70 countries or so. I'm curious, though, under what conditions at this point would President Trump talk to President Xi about tariffs?
Look, I just spoke to the president about this, and he believes that China wants to make a deal with the United States. He believes China has to make a deal with the United States. It was a mistake for China to retaliate. The president, when America is punched, he punches back harder. That's why there will be 104% tariffs going into effect on China tonight at midnight. But the president believes that Xi and China want to make a deal. They just don't know how to get that started. And the president also wanted me to tell all of you that if China reaches out to make a deal, he'll be incredibly gracious, but he's going to do what's best for the American people.
So here's the TLDR. For many years, there was a trade situation between the US and China that Trump and many other people are now considering to be unfair. And who knows, maybe they thought it was unfair for many years, but now Trump is in power and he could theoretically do something about it. And as you could tell, he's definitely attempting to do something about it. So he clapped back saying it's unfair. Then China said, we're not happy that you're clapping back and we're going to clap back. And then Trump said, you don't clap back at me. And he started throwing fists. And then China said, we don't care that you're doing this. We're going to fight back even harder. And that's the situation that we're at. And really, it all resolves down to the fact that we are now tariffing China 104%. And it really doesn't seem as if we're going to come to a solution anytime soon, because we got this update. According to Hassett, who is a part of the administration, we are prioritizing Japan and South Korea on tariff talks, as in not China. I fully understand. We're already in a giant bonfire type of a situation, but now the Fed is adding a little bit more gasoline. This is from Daly, who's a Fed member from San Francisco. A little concerned inflation may pick back up from tariffs. And she's not the only one who's concerned. Now even more CEOs are starting to speak out. CEOs break silence on Trump trade war. And just to kind of recap a big bombshell from yesterday, Larry Fink of BlackRock is really sounding the alarm. BlackRock CEO Larry Fink says most corporate leaders he speaks with believe the US is already in a recession and warns the recent 20% market plunge may just be the beginning. The canary is sick, another 20% drop can't be ruled out. So with all that doomsday talk, let me do my job by reminding you this is not the time to panic. 401k trading on Monday was the heaviest since start of the pandemic. There are years, if not decades, of research that suggests crazy, hyper, chaotic, volatile, absolute, insane times like this are not the time to sell. The average investor does the exact opposite. When everyone is panicking, they panic and sell. And then when everyone's exciting and it's ripping, they FOMO-ing. They buy when everything is ripping and they sell when everything's dropping. You got to do the opposite. You got to be buying in painful situations like this. And then when it's all ripping, those are the times to lock in the gains. I want to make this explicitly clear. In my humble opinion, and remember, I cannot tell the future, this is not the time to sell. This is the time to start buying some of your favorite high quality blue chip stocks, weather the storm, and then come back once again when the market is back in the groove of ripping to new all-time highs. You want to sell when everything's ripping and you want to buy when everything's dipping. I know it's painful, but you gotta wire your brain to do the exact opposite of what your emotions are telling you. And then for those of you who are active traders, well, all I can say is Godspeed, and you have a lot to pay attention to. Tomorrow, Wednesday, we're going to get the 10-year note auction at 1 p.m., getting an idea of what's going on in the world of fixed income. And then at 2 p.m., we're going to get the FOMC meeting minutes. I should also let you know with respect to seasonality that Wednesday, it's a bit more neutral. Thursday's a bit more bearish and Friday's a bit more bullish. But overall, this is just crazy. As of today's close, from the all-time high to right now, we are down 19%. 1 more percent, and we are officially in a bear market. What I'll personally be looking for in the bull case, if there's a rally overnight or if we get some positive news, if we take out 5,300, there's an upside gap fill to play at 5,391, and then above that we have 5,571. On the flip side, tomorrow's trading session, Wednesday, if we take out today's low of 4910, then I'm watching Monday's low of 4835, and if that doesn't hold, I'm looking at the $100 increments, but I do want to let you know from way back when, I'm talking November of 2023, we do have 3 downside gap fills at 4421, 4319, and 4245. So I'm paying attention to all of that. The upside gap fills, the downside gap fills, and then the breakout from the range that's been created from Friday until today. In the short term, I truly have no bias. You just want to look for those opportunities where you can get in with low risk and ideally ride whatever the trend is, because right now the volatility is so insane that if you can catch the right trend, man, oh man, can you make insane amounts of money. And with that being said, in a comment below, let me know what equities, what crypto, what options you're looking to buy right now. I'm really curious where the community's mind's at. That's what I have for you. I hope you enjoyed the video. I appreciate your time. I appreciate the good vibes, and I'll catch you in the show tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., bright and early. Peace.